Good morning, this is Sifu Slim, and I'm here in Needles, California. The gorgeous morning of New Year's Day 2018, and I am in front of the branch library. Now, I am about to return a book, and what happened in the modern era is people stopped reading books. And it's part of the digital addiction, it's part of the instant gratification, and it's part of the sedentary world. Even turning a page of a book is something that it must be too challenging for people. They're disconnected. They can use the thumbs, and they're exercising the thumbs and the addiction to the quick stimulus. And I resent that. I think that the addiction towards digital has gone to the extreme level, and people's connection with their own learning and their own enjoyment through books has to make a comeback. Now, some may say that Amazon's having banner years selling books. Well, that may be. But I think the percentage of people reading books compared to the 60s and 70s has dwindled. I would guess it's dwindled by 95 to 98%. I'll have to look that up, but that's my guess. I know people who are learned people who no longer read books. I know people who work in education who, once their day is done in education, no longer read books. They go home and they may watch documentaries, they may go on social media, they may be on the television, they may be on YouTube. Fine, I'm glad that they're learning, I'm glad they're enjoying. But the book, something that in bygone eras was such a blessing. Books were not always easy to come by. People were not literate for much of our modern history. It took a lot to teach kids to learn when I was growing up, learning how to read. And some kids had more difficulty with it, but imagine kids in the 1910, 1920 who had to go to work in a capacity to help their families. Going to school was a luxury to many of them, and that was brought into law, child labor laws, education laws at that time, but it was not always obeyed. So I hope that people, and I'll say a blessing, that people will come back to books and they will find a connection with the paper book, actually, not just the digital book on the digital machine, but the actual paper book. And that's my hope. So that's the first agenda for today, is to mention books. And the second one is to go across the street right over here, and that's where I'm going to be getting the Physicality, mind, body, and spirit through movement. And I'm going to do that for just under 2 hours this morning. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling, terrific right now. Went out dancing New Year's Eve last night. People were enjoying themselves, and so there was a nice release. And boy, what a blessing that was. So right now I'm going to walk up to the forgotten location and drop off the book. There's the branch library of San Bernardino County, and it's right next to the generator of the digital era. There's the microwave tower. So all the people who were on cell phones and tapping into that, they're using that more, and they're using the library less. If you go into a library, the 3 o'clock zone, you will see some kids, but very few. You'll see some adults, but very few. That's the story. I hang out in libraries, and you'll see that there's just very few people. And there's the ambulance, and we're going to talk about modern medicine in a subsequent video. So, Sifu Slim, wishing you all the best. Aloha, and read books. It's good for you. Always have a book with you whenever you're waiting. Bus stop, whether you're waiting at the counter, in a line, always good to have a book. I have a fanny pack, and I take books with me wherever I go. Aloha.